All right, so we are live. Welcome to the Raw and Uncut Truth About Writing, presented by Imagine to Dream Bookstore podcast. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Author Toni Larue. How are you, hun?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing fine. So it is so great to have you on here. Do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and your books?
Sure. So I'm an author of I want to say eight books, eight books, well, eight novels, two short stories. I'm from the Bay Area, Richmond, California. I now live in Las Vegas. Um, but I mean, that's about it. I write thrillers. I love the thriller genre. I've been dabbling into horror lately, so I'm excited, about the future.
I know that's right. So y'all go get her books, okay? I'm also going to support because we support our authors over here. All right. Let me give you a little backstory about me. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I had a passion for writing ever since I was in fourth grade, but due to a humiliating experience, I put it off for 10 years. I kind of dabbled into Wattpad, which kind of made me want to start back writing again.
Mhm.
And when I found out that Amazon KDP allowed me to write my own book, publish my own book, I've been writing ever since. So I got 48 books published on Amazon. And
I'm trying to be on your level.
okay, thank you. You're going to get there. Trust me. Look, this took so long. Lord have mercy. But anyway, let's get right into it. So, what does your writing process look like?
So I would say now it's a lot different from when I first started writing. When I first started writing, I was more kind of, what is it called, like a pantser, where I would just, go with whatever came into my head. And what I realized then was that it made the process longer because as the story kind of changes, you have to keep going back to the beginning and reading through and making sure, that everything kind of adds up right. So I was like, this is, it's kind of turning into a headache. So I started looking into outlining. So now I am an avid outliner. So I don't even start writing. I won't say I need to know every detail because I still like to allow myself to be creative. But I still need to know, from A to Z how my characters got from one point to the next point before I even start writing. So I want to say I do multiple outlines before before I finish a book.
I know that's right. First of all, I'm trying to get like you, okay? Because my writing process is a mess. I mean, I don't even outline. Let me just start there. Like when I'm going into a story, I just, think about the main idea and then I get the writing and stuff. But then I'm like, well, all I see is the main idea. Maybe I should get
Mhm.
into outlining. So I kind of did jump into it a little bit. So yeah, I'm trying to get like you. Okay. I need to outline as much as possible. So for your characters, how do you build your characters and how do you come up with their names?
So I would say I'm not as um picky with the names for the most part like some authors are because sometimes I will literally go on Google and be like, what was the popular names in this year, and then find whatever kind of sticks out to me. But I do character profiles for my main characters, and even if you have side characters that are going to have like a main role, I do a full character profile for all of them.
Okay, yes. I'm trying to get there too. Cause like
I'm telling you, it helps. Like when you, because I like to create like complex characters, so they be having a lot of issues. So it helps because you need to know the backstory, even if you don't use a lot of it in the story. It helps you with like behavioral traits, characteristics, and stuff like that that you can implement to make, to just bring those characters to life. So they really, and sometimes you'll forget, like, oh, what age did I say she was? But when you have the character profile, you can just go to the profile and be like, okay, she was this age, she was born on this date. Because you'll forget, or you'll start changing stuff around, and you don't want to have to keep rereading during the writing process. Because you already know during editing you're gonna do enough of that. So it's like, if I can if I can limit the amount of times I have to go through it before editing, that's like my ultimate goal.
I know that's right. First of all, I'm gonna invest in that just because you said it. Because I use my
Yes.
AI generated covers, and that's basically what the main character is gonna look like. So you know
I
what?
love your covers.
I don't need to do that. So how do you come up with your covers to your book, like your front, back, and your spine?
um Honestly, there's really no process. I'm so bad when it comes to covers, and sometimes I hope, like, I can just tell the graphic designer this is what the story is about, and hope they can come up with something. Um, my not my last two books, I actually designed the covers myself, and I don't know. I was just playing around in Canva, and it kind of came together, but I never really start off with an idea.
Okay,
It
I
just
get what you
happens.
mean. Yes, I get what you mean because I'm a designer myself and I use Canva as well. I'm like, they're a lifesaver. Let me just say that.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
So, who is your inspiration when it comes to, forming your own book? Like, what made you want to write a book in the first place?
Ooh, so I think, like most authors, I was an avid reader growing up, so I love to read. Always had my nose in the book. Some authors that I fell in love with that I can really remember, of course, Eric Jerome Dickey. I love him so much. Like, so Eric Jerome Dickey, I grew up reading Mary Morrison, Mary Monroe. Even though I just did a post about it a couple of days ago, I was reading some books that we really shouldn't have no business reading at that age. But
It
but
happens.
those are, yeah, but I want to say Eric Jerome Dickey is, to me, like the blueprint.
Okay, yes. I love that. Oh my gosh, yes. So, kind of similar, even though he's not a guy. My inspiration is Joy Deja King. Actually, before I even started wanting to write, I like read this story about her. It was like one of those urban fictions. And I
Mm.
was like, what would it be like if I wrote a book that kind of was similar to hers, but like with a different ending? And so, girl, I came over the whole series. I'm like, this this just birthed four whole books. Look, that's what I'm talking about. But yes. So I had to get my book out because I'm starting to forget. Lord. So how do you research your street names? Like, do you go to the internet for like different locations that you put your characters in?
So it can vary depending on the book. Like, I did a horror book called, it was part of the Asylum series with Tanisha Stewart. That town was completely made up, so I was able to create everything just off the dome. So street names, the town name, everything was completely fictional. Um, on my regular thrillers, most of the time they're based in Vegas. They're either based in Las Vegas, so I'm familiar with the area, or they're based in the Bay Area where I'm from. And I actually do like real street names. Like, I'll be on Google Maps, I'm blowing up the images. I will, because I want to describe, certain blocks look a certain way. So I'll describe that block, how it looks like in real life. That's one of the things that I did pick up from Eric Jerome Dickey, because he's very detailed. and very descriptive. So I feel like that kind of rubbed off on me a little bit because I he had a book. I forgot which book it was, but he had a book that was based in the Bay Area. So I'm reading it and I lived there and I'm like, this is so cool to read about the streets and stuff. So I try to make those as real as possible. So it's really only my horror book that was completely fictional.
I know that's right. Oh my gosh. Let me just say, you have inspired me, girl. Oh my God. Because I normally only been in Chicago. I haven't really been like to the big places. Like I only been to Florida once. Like I need to travel
Hmm.
more. But I
Yeah,
do
you
normally
gotta hit the road.
you so right, yes. But yeah, I do normally like research my stuff because I'm like, I don't know where these places at. It's crazy. But yes, you inspire me. I'm gonna start being a little more descriptive in my stuff because yes, I love this.
Yeah.
So, do you write every day?
No. And I hate and I hate that because I really I really try to make it a habit to write every day, but it'll be periods where I'll do really good and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do 1,500, at least 1,500 words a day. And it never really happens. And then dealing with writer's block and stuff like that, sometimes I just don't feel inspired. So a lot of times you'll spend the spend all that time just writing and deleting. And if like I try not to force it because I really like I always try to make the next book better than the last book. So if I feel like I'm forcing a story, it's just like, okay, let me take a step back. Um and then come back to it later and hopefully because I'm one of those people like I'll get inspired out the blue. Like I can be going for a walk and then you'll just get like a scene in your head and you're like, okay, that's where I'm going next. So if I don't really have um those little shocks of inspiration, it's hard for me to just sit down and write it. I'm trying to get better because I'm trying to make it, be more career minded as it pertains to my writing, but it's hard sometimes.
Girl, I totally can relate. Oh my gosh. When I tell you, I'll just be sitting at that computer for 30 minutes straight looking at the words like, what am I going to write now?
Yeah, and it'd be worse when it's like, okay, well, you had a higher word count when you first started through after, because it's like you'll end up deleting stuff. Like I don't like how this sound. I'm gonna take this out, and it's like I done deleted more words than I hate it.
Started.
I hate it.
That is so crazy. Oh my gosh, that writer block and that procrastination will definitely get me. I found myself going weeks without writing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
girl, if you don't get to this computer.
you got to get it together. I know. I
Whew.
know.
So I got two more questions for you, and we can go ahead and wrap up. So I know that you said you normally write in thrillers and you just started a horror book. Is there another genre that you're interested in dipping your toe in, or would you like go full out?
Oh, let me think. I would say if I were to dabble in something different, maybe fantasy. I feel like the only reason I haven't done fantasy, I feel like it take a good person, like all that world building and all that stuff. I don't know if I have the patience for it. I don't know how authors do it because it's a lot of work. Because you're creating a whole world with laws and all kind of stuff. I would say if I were to branch out, it will it would be more of fantasy than anything else.
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting because, like I told you earlier, I don't outline. When I was writing my
That's
fantasy
what I'm
books,
saying.
yes, girl. But when I was writing my fantasy book, the stuff just came to me. You know how you have like that word flow and stuff. And I
Hmm.
wasn't really thinking about the world like that. I'm just like, well, how am I gonna move this story forward? And basically, the book is called the Purple Crystal, Journey to the 12 Crystals. And when I made it, I initially thought it would be about the afterlife, because it's my take on it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody ever been up there, if that makes sense. Like, to come back and tell us about it.
Right. So you can create it how you want to.
Basically, right? So
Yeah.
so I kind of did that in a sense. I was like, well, let me just add different scenes, like different scenes that I've seen from movies, different scenes that I've seen from the books that I've been reading, and it kind of came together. It was like let me see if I can remember. It was like she went in the sky, and it was like one of those ground level. Lord have mercy. What am I trying to say? That those rocks that hold you up, and it was almost as if it was a mansion in the sky. If that makes any
Mm-hmm.
sense, Lord have mercy. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I built it around it. It was like just seeing that image, I was able to kind of navigate through those different type of worlds. And I get you, like I totally get you. That was kind of hard, but it
Yeah.
was just like at least it's done. That's all
Yeah,
I
but
can
that's
say.
that's a skill for you to be able to do that, off the dome. That's just because I would be like, even for even for like the fictional town that I created in my horror novel, and I went into a lot of detail, like when it was established, who discovered it, everything. And that was just and I didn't half of the information I didn't even use in the actual book. So when you're just you like when it comes to fantasy and to be, that detail off the dome, that's a skill.
Girl, all I can say is I tried with that book. Now, when it comes to horror, I don't think I could do that one. I, I feel like I don't know how to write it, one. And two, is just like something about those nightmares, because sometimes I do get them. I just can't stand it. Like, I'm just like, look,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Shaking my head. Okay, so let me see one more. Do you make up your own rules when you write? Like, let's say with your formatting, for example, do you do like regular, the standard, I should say, like the single space and stuff like that?
I want to say, yeah, I think I want to say I either do a single space or 1.5. I try to keep to the rules for the most part. Um, but I'm not one of those people that like all the fancy stuff. So it's real plain Jane. Like chapter one, let's start these words. So I don't get into all the pretty stuff. I think they look really pretty when other people do it. I don't have the patience for it. So I try to keep it really simple. And I do try to stay with what's traditional though.
Okay, and you got that right, because your writing, your style, your format is all unique, and that's what I love about it, because this is basically art. So you can do what you want, basically.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. However you feeling.
Yes, and for me, girl, since I'm in school, I didn't learn English the essay paper way, so I didn't brought that over to my writing, and everything's double
Yeah.
faced. Lord.
Yeah, and then you also have to because even the what the APA format is, it can still be slightly different from writing novels because sometimes even how you structure your sentences and things like that isn't always going to follow that whole APA format. But as long I feel like as long as it makes sense, then you gotta go for it. It don't
Period.
have to be it don't have to be a certain structure. Do whatever, because that's what creates your style.
Yes, I'm so here for it. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
my
for
live.
having me.
Really appreciate you. Next time, I'm gonna try my best to get it off the dome because sometimes I do forget, girl. It's crazy, but but yes, everybody, make sure you get Miss Toni Larue's books. Where can you find them, hun?
Yes, so all my books are available on Amazon. Most of them have paperbacks, so if you don't like ebooks, most of them except for the short stories, and then there's one called No Kissing. Those don't have paperbacks, but the other ones do. Her Sister Secret also comes in hardback. That's been a fan favorite, so you can get everything
Yes,
on
honey.
Amazon.
Yes, I'm so excited. Hopefully, one day we could collaborate, do something together. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm so here for it.
I'm always down for a collab. I love working with other authors.
Yes, me too. Okay. And make sure you all come check out my books as well. You can find them on Amazon and my website. I do book boxes at Imagine to Dream Book Store. So thank you
I
so
love
much
it.
again.
Thank you for
Miss
having
Tony.
me.
All right then. You have a blessed day.
You do the same.
All right.